Welcome to another in our series of Revive videos. This one about use of social media in the church. And we welcome Chelsea Satterley, the Communications Director for the Northwest Lower Michigan Synod. One of the first questions that comes up is, would you give us a brief overview on the different social media platforms? We all may use our favorite ones, but just a brief overview on what are the different platforms that are being used and who's using them.
Yeah, sure. So there are a lot of different social media platforms, but I'll just go over kind of like the really big ones, which are Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and now TikTok. I'll go ahead and share my screen too, so you can see kind of an example of those pages. Okay. So first with Facebook, here you can kind of see this is our Synod's Facebook page. This is a public business page from Facebook. Facebook offers personal profiles, which is what a lot of people have. That's kind of just you and your friends. Business pages, which is what we use for the Synod. A lot of bigger groups or stores, brands have these professional pages. Facebook also offers event pages, public and private groups, and live streaming, all of which you can access if you have either a personal or a professional page. It's pretty versatile since you can easily share kind of text posts, videos, pictures, links, which is really helpful for congregations. You're not kind of locked into one kind of content. Thinking about who uses Facebook, generally Facebook's users are middle-aged or older. A lot of millennials had a Facebook account when they were younger, but certainly now and for generations younger than millennials, Facebook isn't the primary social media that they're using.
No, because mom and dad and grandma are on Facebook.
Yeah, yep. And even if they still have profiles, a lot of those are just like from their middle school, high school days that they just, kind of want to distance themselves from now. That being said, though, it is still like a good place for congregations to be. One thing that is nice about Facebook business pages is that you don't have to have a Facebook account to see all of the information. So here you can see now, like I'm not logged into Facebook, which is why it's giving me this little pop-up that I can log in, but I can still access all of the Synod's posts and kind of information on this side too. It has like our contact information. This would be a great place for you to put your worship times, how to get in touch with the pastor, anything like that. So it can be really helpful, even if, not everyone is on Facebook. The other aspect of Facebook that can be helpful, certainly now with COVID, is it does offer live streaming. So a lot of congregations are using that to do weekly services. And they're also using the groups as kind of places to connect with members online. I've seen some congregations using private groups for prayer requests and kind of other specific parts of a congregation.
And this one says official.
Yes.
Maybe you can say what's the difference between our official Facebook page for the Synod and the other one?
Yeah, so for this official page, this is a business profile. So this one is specifically stuff that's coming from the Synod office. So like events that we're sharing, posts that we're sharing specifically. The other one that we have, let me see if it'll let me click in here, is a Facebook group. This is the non-official labeled one. We'll see if it loads. Oh yeah. And so this one is primarily just a place for conversation. There are people in our Synod. There are some people who aren't necessarily in our Synod anymore, but it is just a place to kind of connect with others. Anyone can share information in this group, whereas if it's coming from our official Facebook page, it's coming through the Synod office. So here too, you can see people are sharing videos or events or updates about different different things that are going on throughout the Synod, and some just other resources from the ELCA. Usually for groups like this, you would need to have a Facebook account to engage with as well, if you wanted to post anything or comment anything on anything. But
And the Synod does have a moderator on this group page that would
yes.
delete anything that's inappropriate. That's always important to keep track of who's posting what on your Facebook page.
Yeah, and with groups specifically too, people will kind of just join random public groups and then kind of post kind of spammy things or just not great things to have posted on the internet. So yeah, having a moderator, having someone who's kind of checking and making sure that everything is kind of in line with your values, your community, is always very helpful. Okay. Any other questions on Facebook?
No, I think that's good for me.
Okay. So I can move on to Twitter. Here, I'll show you. This is, again, our Synod's Twitter page. Twitter, similar to Facebook, has both personal and business accounts, but it focuses more on sharing really short updates or thoughts. Those are what they call tweets. And so to keep those short, Twitter does have a character limit. So it's not great for sharing kind of like long messages. You usually have to link out to something for that. So it's a little bit more restrictive than Facebook in that sense, but it does still let you share kind of pictures, links, and videos. It does not have a live streaming thing, so that is separate. But you can kind of see here, these would be our tweets. We match our content so that it's what is on Facebook is usually also on our Twitter feed. It keeps it a little bit more cohesive. But the main way that you engage with Twitter is that you would follow accounts and then you would reshare their content, or you would tweet your own content. So you can leave a comment, you can share, like you could share this link to people who are following you. And Twitter itself is just more of kind of engaging with others and engaging that way, as opposed to Facebook, where you have a nice profile where you can have like your business hours or contact information. You really only get a little bit in your profile here. So you can see like we have a link to our website, but unlike Facebook, we're not able to say like what our business hours are or how to contact people by phone or anything like that. It is very much more kind of like conversational and relational. Twitter's audience is younger than Facebook users. More kind of millennial and younger, even though Facebook and Twitter are kind of around the same age. A lot of people moved from Facebook to Twitter and kind of just stuck around there for now. Let's see. All right, so the next one would be Instagram. This is the ELCA's Instagram account. You can see that Instagram, unlike Twitter and Facebook, is primarily picture focused. So a lot of these posts are just pictures. It doesn't really allow you to share links in an easy way. You can't link to different posts to say, click into this post. You can have a caption for your picture and people can comment on it, but you can't have like clickable links. And so that can be a little bit of a challenge if you're looking to share information because it all has to fit in that post. So you could have a text post with a lot of words, but not a lot of people are gonna look at that and kind of get that information.
And the way it has to be shared is as a picture file?
Yes, usually it is like a JPEG or an actual picture file. Yeah, I don't think it can be a PDF or anything. It has to, it looks for that picture. And so you can have this link up here that links out to, your website or anything else. A lot of people will kind of change this link as they're sharing new information. So it might, right now it's the ELCA website, but if they had a recent post that was an event that was coming up, you could put that there and just direct people to the link in your profile. Instagram's audience is generally millennials or younger. A lot of people really like Instagram because it's easier to share a picture than kind of like a lot of words. But Instagram does also offer video now. They're kind of making a push to be a little bit more video focused. And so you can share kind of short videos or what they call stories, which can be photos or videos, but they only stay on your profile for 24 hours. So a lot of people kind of like that. There's a little bit less pressure to have a really good, a really nice, well thought through curated post that gives them a little bit more flexibility. Whereas posts that are on their kind of main grid here, people feel a little bit more like, oh, it has to be really nice. It has to be perfect. So it can be a little bit challenging, but the main thing about Instagram though is because it is picture focused, you really want to have good quality pictures. It's one of the reasons I'm showing the ELCA Instagram and not the Synod's Instagram, because we don't currently have one, because we don't take a lot of like really nice pictures. And so that's something like we have to kind of work on, is like, if we want to be on Instagram, where do we source really nice pictures to kind of get people interested and, clicking into them? Because if they're not, then people are just going to keep scrolling by and they're not going to want to engage with the content. So this is YouTube. A lot of people use YouTube. It has a really wide audience. People, very young can watch cartoons. Older people will search for kind of like specific information. You can watch news clips, music videos, content. For us, we do a lot of sermon videos, kind of recordings of events, interviews, types of things like that. You can see our Revive videos down here as well. Mm-hmm. So YouTube is a video service. It's less about kind of creating conversations and engaging with others, just because mostly if your profile is all of the videos that you're sharing. So if you're not sharing a lot of videos, you can comment on other people's things, but you don't kind of get that same community building as you would by someone just kind of posting a link to an article or kind of like a picture from a community event or something like that. But if you do have videos to share, like worship videos or recordings of events, or if you want to do live streaming, YouTube is a really good platform for that.
Yeah, I found that, of course, we use the videos posted on YouTube because most of the time the video file mm-hmm. is way too big to email out to people or things like that. So yeah, posting it there makes it easy. You just send a link rather than have to send around these big video files.
Yeah, and one thing that's really nice about YouTube is because they're designed for videos, their live streaming and their video hosting is a lot more stable than something like Facebook that's, does live streaming, does host videos, but is, kind of also doing pictures, also doing all of these other things that it can sometimes be a little bit less reliable. Let's see, so the last one would be TikTok. Not a lot of congregations or religious organizations are on TikTok, so I'm using an example from Disney Parks. TikTok is very popular. It is one of the more recent social medias that have come out. It is primarily video focused, but also just short videos, so usually like 30 seconds or less. A lot of people will post kind of just like little quick things, kind of like if you're a store, like a new product, kind of sharing your experience about something. sharing kind of like funny videos. There are a lot of kind of recipe hacks and things that are going around as well now. Users on TikTok are young, mostly Gen Z or younger. A lot of social media networks now, because TikTok has become so popular, are trying to focus more towards video. But kind of similar to Instagram, if you don't have the video content to put on there, it's not super helpful to be on that platform, because you're not going to get the same responses as a brand that has, you know, a lot of good video content. So I think that's why we don't see a lot of, you know, kind of congregations or like the ELCA on TikTok in that way, just because it's harder to create content for that. TikTok has had some concerns about security issues. More recently, kind of some cybersecurity experts, you know, have kind of weighed in on that. All social media does collect user content and their data, and can share it with like partners. And so if you're using any kind of social media, it's just important to be aware of what you're posting and making sure you're not oversharing things, because no matter what platform you're on, it's possible that your data will be shared with others. I think that's the last of the main platforms that I feel like are the most popular ones right now. Of course, there are like other smaller ones, but these feel like probably the most relevant for congregations.
Sure. Then as we use these, what are some of the best practices for using social media platforms for the church?
Yeah. So I feel like with any social media, the best way to engage with it is to be kind of active and actively engaging with your congregations on social media. So, you know, if there is a congregation Facebook page, like their posts, comment, kind of help them build that community. Because the more you like and share and comment on their content, the more it's going to be shown to other people who might not be in that community. And that's a good way to kind of get people in and engaging with your stuff. All social media platforms use an algorithm, and everyone's, you know, always trying to like figure out the best ways to beat the algorithm and like see all their stuff and, you know, get really popular and go viral. But really, it comes down to engagement. The more people engage with your content, the more it's going to be seen, the more it's going to be shared, and the more that, you know, you'll be able to kind of build your own community and kind of make those connections. I guess when you're looking to make content for social media, kind of understanding the differences between the different social media platforms is really helpful. You know, kind of when we were looking at like Instagram, that's very picture focused. So, you know, that tells you that sharing good quality pictures is going to help you kind of build those connections. Whereas like looking at Facebook, you have a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more variety in what you can share. And so kind of using that to kind of play into the platform strengths will kind of help you and give you like a better way to even help your community engage with your posts. I guess
go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that kind of leads into the next question, which we were talking about. How can social media platforms be used to invite people into conversations about the church and about faith?
Yeah, I mean, sharing what your congregation's doing, sharing what your congregation's values are, what they're doing in the community, kind of posting the content that reflects that, and kind of even posting questions, like kind of like, this is what we're doing, like, how do you see God at home when you're doing this? It lets people have a place to kind of engage with that content. Having someone who's managing that to also respond to comments and, you know, answer questions in kind of like a professional, like nice way that makes them feel welcome, makes them want to keep talking to you, is also just very helpful. to do that.
What are some things that people who are engaged in a church can do to help promote their social media? Kind of what I'm getting at is so that the pastor doesn't have to do all the social media on top of everything else that the pastor has to do.
Yeah. Creating content for social media does take a lot of time. You have to be thoughtful about it. So having that all in one person, especially the pastors, can feel really overwhelming. I think having a small group of people to kind of help with that is good, especially if you're using multiple platforms. You can have someone who is really, confident on Facebook. Someone might be really more familiar with Instagram, and you can kind of work as a team to create guidelines around kind of what do you want your social media to show about your congregation? What's the voice that you want that to feel and have? And then, having those people can also help you have moderators for groups, have someone, who can engage with the community, answer those questions, have comments, kind of do all of that. So it's not just on the pastor. Of course, you want to make sure that whoever is doing that feels comfortable, kind of has all of the information that might be needed. And, if you are sharing accounts, making sure that everyone knows when everything is being posted, everyone knows who has the login for the different accounts in case someone ever leaves or doesn't want to do it anymore. So you're not kind of locked out of that. But having a team and having kind of set guidelines, set times to post content can make that a little bit more manageable.
Oh, we've talked a lot about the positive things we can do on Facebook. What are the things that we do on social media that kind of make people run away?
Social media can be kind of hard because there are a lot of people on social media, and stuff that one person likes is not going to be stuff that other people like. But at least for me, I look for things that kind of mirror the values that I have and that I look for in different places. So if I'm following a congregation on Facebook or Instagram or wherever, even just looking at their website, I really want to see content that reflects what I value in a community. I want to see things where everyone's welcome. I want to see things that, are relevant, that are kind of speaking to social issues that are happening right now, or kind of sharing things more than just, kind of the same old, rehash, Lutheran memes or anything like that. Those can, they have their place, they have a time, that it can be fine. But I certainly look for things that are, well put together, well thought through, interesting, creative, and, just kind of relevant to what I believe in. And so if I see things that, are very, member focused, or, things about very specific to a specific place, but, not really the community, I'm more likely to be yeah, that's not really for me. I'm not really going to engage with that. I'd rather look for something different.
Yeah, I always have a pet peeve, especially on social media, that we have pictures of these great empty buildings. we have these great pictures of the sanctuary, but we don't take any pictures while there's people in it to make it look like, well, first, the last year with COVID, there weren't a lot of people in the building, but there will be again. But thinking about pictures of people, those are good things. Are there some cautions we'd have to take with posting pictures of people?
Yeah, I mean, when you post anything online, even if you have a privacy setting, you kind of have to go in with the mindset that anyone can find it, anyone can see it. So if you are posting pictures of people, especially children, you need to make sure that, one, they know that their image is going to be online and that they're okay with it. A lot of places also have kind of a like a consent form that they'll
Mhm.
kind of be like, oh, we're going to be taking pictures at this event. If you don't want that, you have to like kind of opt yourself out. But really making sure that whoever is on your pictures on your Facebook page kind of knows and is aware and is okay with that is important, especially with little ones. A lot of people like to kind of take pictures and use them for other purposes.
Mhm.
And so just kind of making sure that you're not doing that goes a long way.
Yeah, especially be aware if you're an event and there are children who may be in foster care or something like
Mhm.
that they don't want their presence known or their
Yeah.
location to be aware of that. So I'm thinking a lot of times crowd pictures from a distance back, so it's harder to recognize individual people,
Mhm.
but there's real people there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know this is important to you, the accuracy and timeliness of the information being posted on social media.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like with social media, with websites, with anything where someone is looking for information, it has to be updated. It has to be current. If you decide to be on social media, actively be there. Make sure you're updating your information. It can be so frustrating to try to find information about a church and you go to their website and the link is broken or the timings are different or the last newsletter or anything that has any information about what the community is like is from 5 years ago.
Right.
And so it just is so important to make sure that whatever you're doing, it needs to be updated. And I think sometimes it can feel overwhelming if you're like, well, I need to be on all of the social medias.
Mm.
I need to be on Facebook. I need to be on TikTok. I need to be on Instagram. I need to have a website. That can feel really overwhelming and that can be really hard to maintain and keep everything current. So I do think it is important that a website is a must. Everyone is looking online for information. But if you do want to be on social media, which is really helpful, you don't have to be on all of them. You can pick the one that fits your community and is easiest for you to maintain, because people are going to be more interested in finding the current information on one place as opposed to being on 5 but having nothing there or having things that are years old. So.
You have some final best practices that you'd want to remind us about as we close?
Let's see. I mean, social media is really a powerful tool, and it can help you make all sorts of connections and really engage your communities. Kind of like I just said, you don't have to be on all of them. I would pick the one that fits you the best, and really focus on the content that you want to create there. Have it be relevant, have it be good quality, have it be things that reflect your community and your congregation and your values. And just have it be a genuine place where you can help people connect with you. I think that really is the strongest thing about social media, is just being a place to have those connections.
Okay, great. Well, thank you for participating in another one of our Revive videos. And as we've talked about, when you watch this and you learn something from it, share it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.